SNN Street News Now.
And welcome to the show. I'm Lee Michaels, and it is Thursday night, 8 p.m. in Chicago, 9 p.m. on the East Coast, 6 p.m. here on the West Coast. Welcome to the show. Thank you for joining us, and I hope all is well with you and your family. I hope you're safe. And if you're on that East Coast, stay warm. Do the best you can. But I know I talked to my nephew in Cleveland today, and he was saying how bitter cold it was there and how much snow they've had. And then I talked to Dr.Ron this morning, and he was telling me about the snow on the ground there in Chicago. And I've talked to people back east, and they've got a lot of snow. And for the past couple of days here in Las Vegas, it's been horrible. It's been 72 degrees. I couldn't even say that shit with a straight face. But, you know, I hate this place in the summer. You know, 110 degrees is not fun. Not at all. But, and I got my good trouble shirt on today. Yep, so that's what I'm all about, some good trouble. Speaking of trouble, Congresswoman Greene got knocked out. She's saying cuckoo right now. She got knocked off all of the assignments that she was assigned to. So, but you know what? That's what you get. When you put hoof in mouth, that's what you get. She apologized. Did y'all hear that weak ass apology? Well, I said those things, you know, before I was elected, and please. That's how you felt. That's what you believed. Otherwise, you would not have said it. And if you're that stupid to know that what you were saying didn't make sense, that it was a lie, then you don't need to be in the House of Congress. You don't need to be there. You need to be home, taking care of your kids or whatever you do. That's where you need to be. But you should not be representing any people that voted for you, because I'm telling you, I just don't think you're that smart. And you need to have a certain level of understanding and intellect, and just can't be stupid like that. How could you go for that kind of crap and embracing the all of these racist, crazy criminals? And you were right there in spirit, and understand that you even talked to some of the people that came up to the Capitol today on the 6th. You knew some of those people. So you're lucky to even keep your position in the House of Representatives. And I hope the people in your neighborhood that you represent do not vote you in 2 years. 2 years from now, you need to be bye-bye. Go back to doing whatever you were doing. It's time to clean up the swamp that the previous president claimed he was going to clean up the swamp in D.C. He brought in a whole different kind of alligators. He brought in alligators on steroids. So, and you're a part of it, Miss Greene. So you need to get yourself together. And you know what? The Republican Party is going to pay for your actions and all of the others. And for the people in the Republican Party in the House of Representatives that did not vote to take you off of those panels, shame on you. You're complicit. You're a part of the problem. That's my point of view, and I'm sticking with it. You can call it white privilege. You can call it criminals. You can call it band of criminals sticking together. And that's what it is. There's no doubt about it. Band of criminals sticking together. And all of you are going to go down in history of being wrong. You're on the wrong side of history, Republicans. Get it together. Otherwise, it may be only one party left. With that, let me welcome the rest of the team. Next to me is Chris Bass, Mr. Boom Shakalaka. What's up, Chris?
Hey, Harvey Boom Shakalaka to all my fellow folks in there. I have to say off the bat that it's more than disturbing when you see this whole thing with Representative Greene.
It is. It's. You couldn't even do a movie like this. Who would come up with something like this? And Dr. Ron, how you doing, buddy?
Man, doing good, man. I'm sitting here shaking my head at all this foolishness that's going on in the world, right before our eyes. Okay, we got, man. What they say, white privilege on steroids. Okay,
it is, and it's shameful. It really is shameful what's going on, and for people that are in power to co-sign, to go along with, to protect. Listen, you don't protect evil. You don't protect wrong. You get rid of it. You root it out. You don't want to be associated with that type of behavior. And for her to think that all of the things that she said them. I didn't say them. She said them.
Yeah.
That she can come out with a little sour face apology and everybody's supposed to, okay, yeah, all right.
Wait a minute. Excuse me. She never apologized.
Well,
not in public.
She
not
did it
in public.
Floor, didn't she?
No. She never said she was sorry. She said fake news is going to chop up her speech.
She's still blowing that horn, huh?
Okay. All right. So now
she's nothing more than a female version of Donald Trump.
She said fake news was going to chop up her speech. And then she went on to explain that they can make any of us say anything we want to say if we said it or didn't say it because of the fake news and how they do things. Okay. So I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut y'all. I just didn't want you to put no fake news out there.
I didn't hear that part. I thought I heard her say that she said those things prior to being elected and all of that. But okay, so you campaigned on some of that crap then.
Exactly.
Or before you even campaigned? No. What people don't understand is we're in a new era of technology. Stuff that you say today, like what we're doing right here, right now, will be around forevermore. Because we're recording it. It's going up to Facebook. It's going to YouTube. It's going to Twitch. It's going to Periscope. And what is it? Twitter. So it's everywhere. And even if I deleted it, somebody else has a copy of it. So you have to be careful. And just because you said something 3, 4, 5 years ago even, and you think that, oh, well, nobody will bring that up. Sure. No. People dig into your past to see if you're credible. And you can tell a lie and get away with it for a little while, but eventually it's going to catch up with you.
Amen.
That's how a lot of criminals get caught.
Yeah.
So keep up the bad stuff and it will come back to haunt you. Let's welcome red beans and rice. Is there any gravy on that? Katrina Sanders. Oh, is that dry? Okay. Ron Atkins, what's up, brother? How you doing? Hope everything is well with you and your family. Dave Johnson in the house. And did I miss anybody? Okay, welcome to everyone that's tuning in to us right now.
Puerto Rican. Ruben.
Oh,
okay. Yeah.
All right. I missed that.
Yeah. He's on the comments. Yeah.
Okay. There you go.
Yeah. Speaking of criminals, can I jump in here right quick?
Sure. You want to represent? Go ahead.
Yeah, man. Speaking of criminals, since you brought up the word about people and criminal activity, being videotaped and stuff. This lady that was part of the criminal activity of breaking into the Capitol and breaking into Nancy Pelosi's office, went before her local judge and asked for permission to go on vacation in Mexico.
No, she didn't. Come on, you making
so
that
now
up.
right after she came out of this request for permission to go to Mexico, she did a social media video. She says, yeah, we might have trespassed a little bit, and we might have kicked in Nancy Pelosi's door, but I should still be able to be allowed to go to Mexico on vacation. Now, she confessed to some criminal activity on her social media.
Yeah.
They played it on the fake news repeatedly over and over again, the words coming out of her mouth. And all of the fake news, according to everybody else, I don't believe they fake news. According to everybody else, she made the whole news cycle over and over and over again, because she feels like those words will not be used in court against her to the admission of criminal activity. My question is, why the hell is she not back in jail? That's what I want to know. Why you want to leave the country? So that means you want to elude prosecution.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Go on vacation. Don't know if you're going to come back or not. Okay. And then you're going to confess to causing damage, in the White House. I just might have kicked on the door a little bit and it came open. That was her story. Okay.
Poor thing.
Unbelievable.
It is unbelievable. It's crazy that people don't understand they are their own worst enemy. When you do stuff on social media, it's out there. And even when, even Trump has deleted stuff in the past and others, and excuse me, but people do screenshots of that stuff. So you make ignorant comments, you make crazy statements, somebody else has already copied it as soon as you post it up, because they can't believe you would do something like that. And they know that it's a great possibility that you, if you have an IQ 2 points above plant life, might take it down when you start hearing some echoes coming from the street saying, that was pretty stupid. So then you take it down, but it's too late.
Yeah.
Too late.
Yeah. I know Chris had a comment about that too. Come on, Chris. I know you had something about that crazy lady.
Well, it's stating the obvious about the crazy lady, so it's already been said, so I ain't going to say anything more about it. But let me go back to the Representative Greene real quick. On some of the notations that she went over during this time before on the House floor to speak, QAnon conspiracies, this is all her agenda. Question 9/11 attack. She said the so-called plane that crashed into the Pentagon. That was an exact quote from her.
Right.
She harassed Parkland survivors, questioned school shootings, endorsed executive executions of Democrats, called midterms Islamic invasion, anti-Semitic conspiracies, and lies about former President Obama and the Democrats. When I was watching that shit show that she was doing on the floor earlier, it looked like she tried to paint herself as the victim. There's an oh poor me, or you shouldn't come after me. I'm the one that's innocent, and played the victim and blame the cancel culture for voting to punish her. Now, prior to all of this, getting on the floor today at 10:30 Eastern Time AM, she tweeted, "It's not just me they want to cancel. They want to cancel every Republican. Don't let the mob win."
That's that Trump crap, man.
Exactly.
That's straight from the Trump playbook. Don't accept the responsibility for your bad behavior. Blame it on somebody else. Point the finger down the room. Enough of that crazy. Let's welcome Francisco. What's up? How you doing, man?
What's going on, man? I'm wonderful. How are you?
We're alive and kicking. Good to see you. Good to be seen.
Thank you.
Welcome to the show, brother. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you.
What's your opinion on what happened today in the House?
Okay. You know that satirical magazine, The Onion?
Yeah.
They've got no more work to do. Reality has become more absurd than fiction. This is a lot more sinister. Like, it's fun to point out how stupid all of this is, but it's a lot more sinister than it appears to be. Back in 2015, when Dump rode the escalator down to history and announced his candidacy, he made a speech about how horrible Mexicans, Muslims, and terrorists are. Conveniently, all those people are associated with brown people. And if you go to the Nuremberg speech in 1927 that Hitler made, it was the same speech. And many of the speeches that he has made subsequently are the same thing. It's the same rhetoric that brought Germany to where it got. And I took a lot of flack for comparing Dump to Hitler back in 2015. And it's one of those things where I wish I had been wrong, but I was 100% right. You know, and people said, well, Dump hasn't done what Hitler did. I said, well, how do you think Hitler started? He didn't just day one start putting people in ovens. It took years for that rhetoric to take hold. And the thing that is the most alarming is, to my knowledge, I believe there's only one industry that's mentioned in the Constitution, and that's journalism. And these people have been assaulting journalism since day one. And they have delegitimized journalism by this catchy little phrase, fake news. But the problem is there's too many stupid people in America that don't understand the difference between propaganda and rhetoric and actual journalism. So what this woman said, as ridiculous as it was, and I agree, I didn't hear an apology. I admittedly, I couldn't sit through the whole thing because it was just too ridiculous. But what she was basically doing was reinforcing what Dump has been working to reinforce for the last 5 years, which is journalism is the problem and fake news is the real issue. And they're trying to silence us and they're trying to censor us. It's absurd. Yeah. These people are dangerous. You're calling for your coworkers to be killed. And you don't think, Al Franken took a fake photo, a joke photo, before he was in office, and he had to resign over that silly photo that meant nothing. And we're supposed to ignore this? It's insanity.
It is. And it's scary because so many people have embraced the rhetoric, the BS that's coming out of their mouths. I mean, it's scary when you had that many people rushing the Capitol building. I'd never seen anything like that in my life. Never read anything too much in history in America quite like that. So we're in some turbulent waters right now, and who knows how this is going to end up. I'm happy to say that we at least have some level-headed people in leadership now. And so far, what I've seen, I'm feeling a little more comfortable. And not to change the subject, but I'm a little uncomfortable with the idea of rushing to reopen the schools. In my opinion, if the children have been vaccinated and the teachers and there's a proper ventilation and separation in the schools, then maybe I can swallow that pill. But right now, I'm not hearing that that's going to be done or has been done. And this is our future. You're talking about the next generations, behind my old ass. So if I get COVID and die tomorrow, okay, but I'm concerned about my children and my grandchildren.
Sure. Yeah. I'm in the same boat. And the problem is that, there's a song by Sting where he says history will teach us nothing. And America's literally making the same mistakes now that it made in 1918. It's like literally like step by step, the same mistakes, reopening too early, going out in the street too early, taking off masks too early. It's all the same stuff. And really we have no excuse, because it's not like we don't have access to information. In 1918, they were blindsided. They had never seen anything like this before.
Sure. Yeah.
But it was the same conversation. People that wanted to wear masks versus people that didn't want to wear masks. That famous thing in Philly where they threw their yearly parade and the next week 2,500 people died, where every other state had canceled their yearly parade, but Philly decided to do it. And, so when is America going to figure it out? When are we going to take the lessons from history and apply them to now and just do the right thing?
Because they don't want to. It's just like this guy that owns the grocery store in South Florida. He doesn't require people to wear a mask. And they showed video of it. And there was a number of people in there that didn't have masks on. Most of them did not, even the people that worked there. Yeah. To me, that's just irresponsible. Yeah. It's ignorant. And why would you put your business at jeopardy like that? And more importantly, why would you go in there without a mask? See, that's
it makes no sense.
That's what drives me crazy. Mm-hmm. What are you thinking? There's almost 500,000 people dead. And then, you'll get an argument from somebody that says, well, more people die from obesity than what's been killed with this virus. That's not a good rational thinking. There's no comparison.
God, these equivocations drive me nuts.
And what you're up against, obviously, when people change the rhetoric. So we had this conversation before in this program, when you look at people who make it about their rights. Oh, you can't take away my rights. I don't have to wear a mask. I have the 6 feet, separate. I have to do all that because I think about taking away my rights. It's not about that. They're trying to save human lives and try to bring this whole thing down from a perspective of it not growing to the point of more people dying. But when you change it and people buy into it, you have these pity pat conversations don't have to be at all. Even if you don't believe, let's go with the people who say it's about my rights. Do you care about yourself? Do you care about a family member? Do you care about somebody in your family that may have certain health conditions? That alone should give you the principle to wear a mask and 6 feet apart and things of that nature. But when you buy into it all the way, like these people have, you're going to get this pushback all the time.
Yeah. Well, these idiots that are citing their rights have no idea what they're talking about, for starters. It's like watching an episode of Cops. Every guy that's got his hands behind his back cuffed is always screaming about how he knows his rights. No, you don't. Okay. The state has awesome power, but here's the irony. No one has told you have to do anything. All we've done is ask you to cooperate, to help save lives. Look, when I go to my local bodega or store or whatever, I see no shoes, no shirt, no service, right? Why is no one screaming about that? Why is no one saying that that's trampling their rights? Because literally all we've added is one thing: no shoes, no shirt, no mask, right? So what is the issue? They tell you got to wear a seatbelt. They tell you got to wear a helmet when you ride a motorcycle. There's so many laws that tell us what we can and cannot do. So why aren't this litany of laws trampling on your rights, but being asked to protect yourself, your family, your friends, and your fellow humans, suddenly that's infringing on your rights? What are you talking about?
Yeah, because it's easy, because you make it us versus them. And the so-called GOP is not the GOP anymore. It's the party of you-know-who. Yeah. I'm telling you, when you go back to the RNC, and once again, I can't get out of my mind, it's really ingrained and burned. When I watched the Devil's Brigade that whole week, of all of them just bowed down and kissed the orange ring and made it his party. You let a rank outsider, literally, come into your party after all, because all the Republicans over the years have been blowing smoke. It's my way, the highway, this so-called tough mentality. You could not even have the cojones or ovaries or whatever to go after this man and say, no, we will not let you hijack our party, and you let him. So when you fast forward to Representative Greene, you have these acolytes formerly of Trump. It's the same mentality. It's the same, ridiculous type of rhetoric. But because he's not there, the message still gets, pushed by Representative Greene and others. This is just the beginning of putting her on ice. There's going to be other people coming forward saying, we know what, we went to that for 4 years already. Sit back, have a seat, have some pills, take a nap, and we're not going to have it again. So we can have no more 4 more years of what we went through, but the acolytes will continue on.
Yeah, and I just hope that that Biden, and right now it seems like he understands what needs to be done and how it needs to be done, because one of the mistakes that I believe Obama made was to try to appease the other side. He had 2 years where he could have enacted strong legislation like his Health Care Act, and it would have been a much better version of it, but he kept trying to work with the other side. They have no interest. I mean, as was pointed out earlier, only 11 out of 210 Republicans voted to get this sociopath out of committees, not even out of Congress. They couldn't even agree that she shouldn't be sitting in committees. These people are feckless, they're spineless, they are anti-American. These are people talking about how horrible government is while they're in government. I don't understand what the hell is going on.
I don't either. It's just, I don't know what to say, man. I wonder if we're going to be able to turn the corner and convince these people that their thinking is not rational, it's not real, it's just wrong.
Yeah, I think propaganda has taken hold too strongly. That it's what worked in Germany in 1938. Is propaganda is a poison. Yeah. Unfortunately, it works beautifully, and we see it. We see what the results of this 5 years of this outrageous propaganda campaign have been, and it obviously can't continue. I'm not one of these patriotic people, but I live in America, and I'd hate to see it crumble over nonsense. Like, let's get it together.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, well, I'm sorry, real quick. And people who don't think, people who don't question authority, you can literally be led to slaughter. Yeah. If something doesn't feel right internally, hey, wait a minute, I got to question this. But if you go along with it and don't even require a thought process, this is what happens when the minions become a part of what Trump had accomplished. Because once again, I don't have to be there. I could be out. I go back to Mar-a-Lago, get kicked out of Mar-a-Lago. But what I stirred up, what I continued on rhetoric-wise, still continues. Right. And even when you have people who, going back to what Lee was saying earlier conversation, when you have people who just buy into conspiracy theories and lies, it's not good for the country. I don't give a damn what your political alliance is. It's just not good. But when you subscribe to it and you bow down to it and you just question not even thinking about it, those people are the ones that are dangerous, which is why Representative Greene had to sit down. You're saying one thing and doing another. It's the classic talk on the side of your neck. Yeah. And you're documented. And then have the nerve on the floor of the House to play victim. That's when I was outdone. You can't even take it for the lie you talked about. You're standing there in your splendid ignorance saying that, well, because these things, some of these damn quotes you had here. I was writing out earlier. Oh, yeah. School shootings are absolutely real. And previously, she was going against school shootings and once again, costly survivors of that. So what we're seeing here is a deconstruction of a mindset that has been stirred by Trump the past 4 years. And go back to what my brother said, even 5 prior to that, when Trump was going against Obama, the whole birther movement, everything else. Yeah. So all this lies and rhetoric has to come to an end. The politicians need to be a little bit tougher. They have to say, you know what? Hey, we got to come at you tooth and nail. You come out of us with these lies. You have to come back and bounce back tenfold.
Yeah. If they want to keep the majority that they have, they're going to have to act boldly, because we know that American attention spans are barely 2 years. And if everything isn't wonderful in 2 years, then they're going to give the GOP the majority again.
Yeah. Well, I think that if the Republicans don't get it together, like right now, what is that? Don't get it together right now, it could be the beginning of the end of the Republican Party as we know it. I mean, there's a boatload of people already announcing their exit from the Republican Party, and I think that's going to continue based on the behavior that we're seeing coming out of both the House and the Senate. And if they keep their connection with the previous president, then that's just going to drag them down. That's like carrying a boat anchor on your shoulder. You know, once the water gets up to a certain point, you still got that boat anchor on your shoulder. You're going down.
Yeah.
Mitch McConnell and all the rest. You're going to go down with this guy. He came in and put poison in the swamp, and the alligators that were in the swamp that couldn't survive, they died off, a handful. But the people he brought in and responsible for, they're just like unbelievable, out of control, toxic, and they're not good for America. Listen, I can debate with anybody on policy, whether you're a Republican or a Democrat. And sometimes I don't agree with the Democrats. But this foolishness that's coming out of the right now ain't right. There's nothing right about the right.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Well, we can't debate facts.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Like, hey, let's debate philosophy, ideology. We can even debate religion if you want to, but like facts, no. Facts are facts. The earth is in fact round. The sun, in fact, rises in the east. We don't need to talk about these things anymore.
Well, alternative facts is what we want.
Man.
Well, since you mentioned Mitch McConnell, I got a question for the panel. So does everybody on the panel believe that Mitch McConnell was tricked by Trump into backing his coup?
Tricked.
No. Hell no.
Oh my gosh.
He was a
Hell
player.
no.
He played along with him.
Yeah.
He was drinking the Kool-Aid like everybody else, and they had their little private off conversations. And McConnell he's a smart, shifty guy. So he was feeding a lot of security to Trump. He kept telling Trump, "No, okay, yeah, that's cool. I'm with you. Maybe back off a little bit on this, but go ahead and see. Here's what's going to happen." Because McConnell's been around long enough to know he's a good chess player. So he knows if he moves in this direction, the reaction is going to be this. So he's always a step ahead of what's going to go down. And that's why he has survived so long. He's a good chess player. While a lot of other people playing checkers, he's playing chess. Now, they were connected. There's no doubt about it. And what Mitch McConnell did, especially during when they were negotiating the stimulus package and everybody was going to the meeting and Mitch wasn't in the meeting. Why? Because he knew it was toxic. And he was telling Trump, and what was the guy's name? God, I can't call his name now. I'm trying to forget all of them. The Speaker of the House, the guy that represents the president in the White House. What's his name?
Chief of Staff.
Chief of Staff.
Yeah, wasn't he going into these meetings? It was him and another congressional member. But make a long story short, they intentionally went in there with no intent of negotiating a deal. The Democrats was up here 1.6, 1.8, 1.9, $2 trillion. And all they had to do was say, no, we're not going to do that. We'll come in at 900,000. And
Mark Meadows. Mark Meadows.
They knew damn well that wasn't going to work. Mm-hmm. So it was all buying time so they can eventually say no. And that was the intent all along. They drag it out. 9 months went by before we got another stimulus, right? Or longer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. And then they come back and say, well, we gave you $600. Now you want another 1,400 to get to the 2. Well, what are you doing with the money? Hey, jackass, most of the people that got the little 600 were not working. Look at the unemployment. It's going up every damn week by 700 plus thousand every week. 750,000 people every week signing up for unemployment. What does that tell you? They're not signing up for unemployment because they don't want to work. They had jobs. Those jobs are going away. They're getting fired, laid off, whatever. So, no, that dog won't hunt. No, we shouldn't be grateful for the $600. No, it's not our fault.
And how long do they think $600 gonna last?
Exactly. You got people that are being evicted. I talked to my nephew in Cleveland. He was saying in the building that he lives in, they're evicting people every week. Somebody is getting kicked out. So what is $600? What is another $1,400 if you're 3 or 4 months behind in your rent, and your rent is at least $1,000? If you live in LA, it's $2,500 to $3,000. So what is that? What is $2,000 even?
Right.
I just don't understand the rational the way they're thinking.
And let's remember, if I may, that the people that are deciding this all made $180,000 in a 9-month period as their salary.
Mm-hmm.
Right. With full benefits.
Right.
And, good medical coverage and everything. If they stump a toe, no problem. Welcome to the show, Professor. How you doing?
Blessings to you guys. I'm wonderful. Thank you. It's time. I gotta get
Having a senior moment?
Man, I got that vaccine, man. So I was like,
did you really?
Yeah, I got the vaccine.
So tell me how you feel. When did you get it and how you feel?
I got it yesterday. And I'm still like, I still feel like I got the lump in my arm, but because of other conditions that I have, I'm like regulating myself, and I've been sleeping a lot, man.
Really?
I've been sleeping a lot, but
your voice sounds a little different. It's not.
What did I do?
Do you have a taste for blood yet?
I was looking for that. If I were to turn into a vampire.
No, zombie, man, zombie.
Oh no, I'm not. No, not the zombie.
Well, let me know if your nose falls off.
Yeah.
I've been checking it out. I've been checking it out. But
which one did you get? Do they tell you which vaccine?
Yeah, I got the Pfizer one.
Okay.
The first one. So I got my card, and then in 3 weeks I'm going back and I'm getting the other hit. The shot didn't hurt it. It was like, because I told them that if you stick me too hard, I'm gonna turn into the Hulk, and I'm gonna stab everything in here. So the
now, where did you get the injection? Was it a hospital?
No, my community. They called me, so that was like really a move, because I'm like over 65. I'm an old cat, right? So they called me and they said, "Well, yeah, Mr. Miles, such and such and such and such." And so I went over there, sent them my information, and it was in the municipal center of where I live.
Okay, so how long were you in a long line to get it, or was it
15 minutes?
Okay,
15 minutes. It took me longer to fill out the doggone form because I had left my glasses in the car, right? And I get this form with all this little paper. And so one of the other seniors was reading it to me. Yeah, this is where you put it at. And it was really cool. But many seniors were getting it, and they were calling other seniors that they knew. Come on down. Come on, get this. Come on. And people were coming in there. They stayed an extra hour or so, or they tried to stay until all the doses ran out.
Okay. So now for those who are watching us and don't know, Professor's in Chicago, and so he got his shot yesterday, and so we're gonna keep an eye on you, and we'd like for you to give us updates on how you're feeling, and because I don't know anybody, you're the first person that I know that's gotten it. that's that I'm aware of.
The wife is getting hers today. I mean, tomorrow, rather.
Tomorrow,
She's
okay.
getting hers Friday. So her job, she works for the U of I. And so they're definitely taking care of her right away.
Cool.
So that was the thing.
Is there a shortage of the vaccine there in your area?
Not that I know of. I think the biggest thing that I've heard of that's going on in my area is that the morgue is full. I had a friend of mine that passed, the baby of this family I grew up with, from my neighborhood, and he passed, and like they couldn't even send him to the morgue for the autopsy because there's no room.
I'm sorry for your loss, man.
Yeah, so that's and that it's like 2021 is picking up where 2020 left off. It's like four I know of, and just
crazy, man.
And I'm like,
everything is totally different and strange. Hell, if I get COVID and die, I want y'all to stand me up in the corner. Just don't bury me, don't cremate me, and none of that. Just leave me there until everything gets back to normal. I know I'm gonna probably start smelling a little bit, but just
we're gonna come down and give you that Johnson & Johnson shot. See, can we bring you back?
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, put me on ice and bring me back.
Yeah, gentlemen, I actually have to run. I'm actually late for my own podcast, but
okay.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
People can find you on your podcast.
You can go to YouTube and search for The Persistent Rumor. The Persistent Rumor. My diction is a little off, but I'll come back next week and make sure I come on a little bit earlier. And thank you again for allowing me to interact with you guys. It's a whole lot of fun.
Thank you, Francisco.
All right.
Thank you.
Take care.
All right,
Thank
brothers.
you. Take care, bro.
Be safe.
Yeah.
All right. So, go ahead.
I got something that's burning on my mind. I know we've been talking about the other things.
Go ahead.
February 8th is coming up Monday. What's the significance of that day?
Go ahead, hit me in the head.
25th anniversary of the 1996 Telecommunications Act.
Oh boy, I should have known. I should have known. Now, for all of the non-broadcasters, you're going to have to explain that to people. Let us know
please.
The significance of that.
Okay, this was the first redo of the 1934 Telecommunications Act, where when this act was done, it was promised to offer communications, equal access, and all this kind of stuff. Everything that this act, it was supposed to be, we're going up the mountain and doing some great things, but everything that this act was promised to do, it turned out to be the exact opposite.
Mm-hmm.
It turned out to be the exact opposite. There's less ownership by African Americans at this point in time. There's less.
A lot less.
Yes, you understand. Out of the 15,000 stations, I believe it's less than 2%. It might be less than 1.5.
Yeah.
And then with a batch of ownership by one company, and William Jefferson Clinton, is that right?
Yep.
After he signed it, then years later, he regretted that bill was pushed through. It was the most lobbied bill at that time in history. 40 million was behind that to get everybody, on board with this law. And right now, is there a black news network other than what we have? Terrestrially, is there a network that we have? I thought that this bill was supposed to give us this.
No, there's been no growth. It's been backwards movement. There's only a handful of minority-owned broadcasters today. Probably Radio One is the biggest one. Kathy Hughes and Alfred Liggins, who I worked for twice. But outside of that, I mean, there's some mom and pops in Jiblipin, Mississippi, but a lot of ones and twosies. Not a lot, a few. My friend up in Rochester, New York, Andre, he owns one station, and it was passed on to him from his mother and father, who put the station on the air. But there's only a handful of black broadcasters in America, and it's almost impossible to buy them. You know, you can't get financing because all the banks have been pimped out. You know, the Wells Fargos, the Bank of Americas, and the Chase and the Citibanks, all the major banks are already invested in these bad deals. So if you call up one of those banks and say, hey, look, I want to buy one station or 5 stations or 10 stations, and go, which ones you want to buy? And you tell them, they say, no, we're already in that deal. We're upside down. We're not going to refinance that. No, thank you. Pasadena. Unless you got a rich uncle that just died and left you about, $500 million, forget about it. Yeah. And if you got that kind of money, don't buy radio.
So without ownership of a medium, how is it that we can ever expect to move forward as a people?
Well, control the volume, control the message, you control everything. Okay? So if people who have a conscious or willing to step out there and represent their community, see, you used to be licensed to a community. If you had a license in Chicago, you had to broadcast and serve that community.
Trustee model. Yes, sir.
Exactly. Well, now it doesn't matter. All those rules that they used to have to keep you, glued to that community. Well, the community doesn't even understand the power they possess to keep you honest, because nobody told them they have the power.
The Public in Broadcasting is a pamphlet or is a document that is produced by the FCC. And I wonder if anyone has downloaded it and read that.
No.
Public in Broadcasting. And it has been updated. Okay. We want to be on the stage, but we have no idea of what it's like to own the stage.
Exactly.
And if we continue to have other gatekeepers for the messages that we need to put out among our own community or within our own community, all we're going to be doing is it's like going up a hill of ice. Go keep sliding, man. And pretty soon you're going to keep digging in that ice where it's just going to collapse and we're not going to get anywhere. So, I'm deaf on that. And I'm wondering how much the present media is going to report on itself.
Yeah, that probably won't happen. I mean, again, you're talking about serving the community, which is now null and void. And if news is on stations, which pretty much regulated to mornings, it's not enough news. I mean, I won't name the station, but I listen to a local station. I don't really listen to too much terrestrial radio. When I do, say the newscast, it starts off, I'm so-and-so, and now with the news. Somebody was shot on the south side of Chicago. His knee hurts. The news is brought to you by Arm & Hammer. It's like it go right to the spot.
Right.
It's not even the news anymore. It's just to have enough to have the endorsement or the commercial and then go right to, playing more music. So we've seen that destroyed over time. When you do find programs like ours, or when it comes to more information oriented, it's sporadic. You say that goodbye to terrestrial radio a long time ago because it was okay, where to put more commercials at? Where we get more sponsorships at? So that became the antithesis, and news just took a back seat. And that put somebody like me or you or anybody else out of business, because that's what we do. We try to provide information to the radio station via that and to the communities. And it's now been destroyed. So when you have like now an SNN, a Street News Now, which is branched out to help people, to bring people in to the fold, like we said earlier about Lee was saying before on Ron's program. In fact, good job, you two, on Ron's program this past Tuesday. Catch the Ask Dr.Ron show every Tuesday at 5 p.m. Central when you go to his Facebook page. So when I was watching you two go back and forth, again, you have to create your own situations, your own environments. So long gone are the days of terrestrial radio and things of that nature. That's gone now. What we have today, digital platforming, finding ways to create opportunities. As Lee said before, about recruiting people using, like I want here. That's right, using one of these to report news, to be in the element. Exactly.
And here's the thing. Here's the interesting irony, right? The number one format, right, of radio right now is news. The top billing station in America is WTOP, which is a news station.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
in Washington, D.C.
Right.
Not New York, not Chicago, not L.A.
Washington, D.C.
Yeah.
WTOP. And that's how Howard got their radio station, WHUR, because WTOP, which is a 50,000 watt AM, right?
Yeah, they're on the AM and FM now, but the AM station was, the cats meow up until about 4 or 5 years ago. Then they went to FM as well, simulcasting.
Yeah, and so they gave their FM, the first WTOP FM, to Howard for $1.
Wow.
Because at that time, no one was believing in radio. They were FM frequency modulation.
Yeah.
They were believing in amplitude modulation, because with a 50,000 watt stick at night, when the sun dissipates, it reduces the ionosphere, that covering around the earth, and therefore, when you hit and you're broadcasting, your signal goes up, and it's steady going up. Because you could hear LS, back in the day, clear to Texas.
Yeah, I used to listen to LS on the beach in Miami.
Mm-hmm.
Texas. Yeah.
And me coming up, that WLAC Nashville with Horseman and Randy Record Shop in Gallatin, Tennessee, and things like that. And we never captured what really that power is really all about. And then there's a reason for that too, because there were cities. When Gary elected Mayor Hatcher, Black radio. L.A. elected Mayor Bradley, Black radio. Chicago, Harold Washington, Black radio. Hey, we can't let these cats talk. So they went in the back room and they started talking about, well, look, how are we going to take these radios so to where they can never get them again?
Change the rules.
Yep, they changed the rules and they call it leverage buyouts. Mr. Bush and his boy Tom Hicks, all them cats. And it actually started with this brother in Chicago. Well, not a brother, but this gentleman in Chicago named Gordon McClendon. He came out in Texas and he started doing this leverage buyout. But then that boy Tom Hicks said, whoa, he went on and went crazy with it.
Sure did.
So next thing you know, our money, Mitt Romney,
Bain Capital.
Yeah, got with Bain. And next thing you know, Clear Channel was bought out. So they put a mortgage on their own station. Clear Channel owns about 80 or 70, between 75 and 80% of all the programming coming into the Black community?
Yeah, easy.
Yeah, absolutely.
And if there's some on it, the program directors can't do much. The VP of programming dictates to the local stations what they can and cannot play, music-wise, promotion-wise, even contests. When they give away whatever, you call an 800 number, it goes to a central location. All the radio stations in that format has to do the same contest at the same time. Someone on the other end answers that phone and says, okay, you're the winner, da-da-da-da. They record it and they send it out to all the stations, and they have to cut it up and make it sound like it was on their station. It's poppycock, man. It's fake broadcasting.
Right.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. And I got to challenge my brother, the professor, real quick. So you got to be. I know how you are, professor. You had to bring it down a little bit, get a little bit too deep. You got radio signals, bouncing off the ionosphere, also bouncing off somebody's gluteus maximus.
Yeah. So
you got to really. you got to make sure, man. You got to bring it down to earth. So man. So the signal that goes to the ionosphere goes to the gluteus maximus up the rectum. So you got to be careful when you break that down for me.
All right. Hey, amen. But, and speaking to us. And then that was my short-sightedness. All of us, have been, radio guys, and I think that's one of the first things you learn in school when you're studying broadcasting. What's the difference between amplitude modulation, which is AM, and frequency modulation is FM. And so, to cut it, to get it down short and like breaking it down to like a 6-year-old, FM means on the ground. That's why, back in the day, remember when you drove up under a viaduct under the AM radio, you would lose signal?
Yep.
Right.
Okay, because it couldn't go through that lead or whatever those viaducts were made of, but it couldn't go through that.
Concrete and steel.
Yeah, wouldn't go through that at all. But if you were on FM, and that was one of the things that moved FM forward over AM, because as far as reach and distance is concerned, AM is far superior. I mean, you're going to hear WLS in Texas.
Yeah.
The sun goes down.
I was born and raised in Virginia, and I was raised on WLS, WCFL, and WBBM.
All of them were 50,000 watts. Class A station.
That's right.
Yes. Class A station. So this is just basic, well, not for me. When I started studying those things, and so they knew this, and they knew to keep us out of that arena because they discovered through some of the greatness of a VON. Through the programming of a Mr. Lee Michaels and some of the other great programmers, that when we have that power to talk to one another, we can effectuate change in the community. When the gangs were going crazy in Chicago, and Purvis would VON, they would get and talk to these cats. When Dr. King was coming to Chicago and he needed money, for the SCLC, VON opened up a remote location on 35th and, King Drive, Lake Meadow. They only wanted 5,000. They ended up getting 22,000.
Power of black radio.
Yeah. So, and so this is, they don't want us to realize that among ourselves, they keep dropping this infection droplet on us. And, I got to be syndicated, man. I need to be in 22 markets. To do nothing.
Yep.
To do nothing.
Except make money for the ownership of that network.
And yourself. That's it.
Yeah. And, listen, I love the fact that people like Tom Joyner and Doug Banks and everybody in Chicago know who they are and around the country because they were very successful. And there are other guys that are syndicated right now that's making a lot of money, more money than they ever dreamed of. But think about the fact, and I used to have this conversation with Doug and Tom, and I said, look, I'm not trying to put you guys down, but you got to remember, if you're on 125 radio stations with your show, there's 125 DJs that don't have a job.
Yep.
When they put you on, they either move that guy who was doing mornings to midday, and the midday person maybe went to the overnight show. The overnight show got bounced out. Or they didn't replace or move that person out. That person just got bounced. So there were losses in jobs
4 to 8
when syndication became so prevalent. Now, I'm not anti that because I worked for a network that was in syndication. So I had to program and make that successful. But we didn't think that through. It was all based on the bottom line. How much money can I save on my radio station by putting this program on? And that was the beginning of the end.
Servicing that debt. And they got the idea for broadcast syndication. Did you know that came from a newspaper, right?
Yeah.
It came from a newspaper. That newspaper you get when you're out of town, they always put this newspaper
on your door, USA Today.
That's right. And that's where they got that from. They said, oh, God, they produced that paper in Pittsburgh, right? Yep. And it goes to everybody else simultaneously. They don't have no printing costs, and they just bring it down.
Satellite it up, and then the local printers and all the different markets will grab it off the satellite, print it, and that's how they got it out. Now, that was supposed to take 10 years before they became profitable. And it did it in less than 10 years. I don't remember the exact number, but it may have been around 5.
Mhm.
So the concept was great, but are they still around?
USA Today?
Yeah.
Well,
I think a smaller version of them.
It might be. I haven't been to, to a different hotel since the pandemic. So
yeah, it's a smaller version of them. They slimmed down. It's not what it used to be. Yeah, most print newspapers are not around like they used to be.
Magazines, any kind of print.
Yeah,
it's sucking.
I got a question. I know the professor knows the answer to this. Do you know who Herman Roberts is?
Yeah, that's Roberts 500, right?
Yep. He passed away on the 31st, man, 97 years old.
Man, I love the 500 room. That was we didn't have to go downtown.
Couldn't go downtown.
Right. Now you are absolutely correct.
That's the real deal right there. Could not go downtown.
And as a DJ, if you made it with a set in the Roberts 500, you was somebody.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, see, I didn't come into Chicago until late 79.
Mm-hmm.
And the Roberts Hotel, they were running commercials on radio still. And that's how I know it. But I never met him, and I never stayed at the hotel. So I know the impact that what he did there in Chicago was phenomenal.
Phenomenal. Legend.
Mm-hmm.
Legend. Yep. First Black hotel owner in Chicago. And he used to do shows at all of his, hotels, man. He would put every kind of, artist that was popular in his hotels, man, and put on a show and became very famous on the south side of Chicago.
Right. 63rd King Drive.
Yep.
I've been by there.
Indiana.
Is it still there?
Nope.
No. I think CTA got that property.
Yep, right on 63rd. Yeah, he met over there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I think the CTA got that property, man.
Yeah. He got one of them. He had 3 hotels on the south side. All of them are gone. Yep. Yeah, it was 3 of them. Yeah, but he passed away in Las Vegas on the 31st, 97 years old. Died with his family at home. Man, the stories he could tell, the legend that he was.
Wow.
Yep, and the pictures he took. I hope his family releases some of those pictures later on.
Yeah.
But he was I saw him a couple of years ago. He was here in Country Club Hills at one of the concerts, and looked good, still moving around, but now, hey, a legend. I knew you was gonna know the answer to that.
Oh, yes, sir. Yes.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah. We didn't get to the other criminal that I wanted to talk about. They had some dude that looked like he was at a Minnesota Vikings football game, and he went to jail, and he wanted organic food served to him. And
the judge said he can get it.
Yeah, good luck with that.
Let a brother ask for that.
No, good luck with that. He ain't gonna get it in there. Look. Judges can say anything they want to say on the bench,
right?
But the prison is not going to set a precedence by serving organic food to anybody. Okay, so you can forget that. It's not going to happen. What they going to do? Put the guards in jail? They're going to put the cook in jail? They're going to put the warden in jail for disobeying an order?
Right.
But if you set a precedence serving organic food to one guy, man, please, you do good. Look,
in jail.
Look, you will do good to get fresh food in jail, let alone organic food. You talking about food that's a year old, expiration date 2 years old, expired, and they feeding it to these guys, man. Unbelievable. And you talking about organic? Really? Good luck with that.
He's gonna starve to death, in other words.
Yeah, he said he ain't ate in 6 days.
Okay.
Waiting on some organic food, and then we're gonna check back on that in about 40 days and see how, see what happened. If they want me to organic, they're gonna have to try to get him some food under the wire, dig a hole underground or something, slip it to him,
Yeah.
Because it ain't gonna come through the kitchen. I can tell you that now. It's not going to happen. There's no prison in the country willing to set that precedence. Okay, none. I don't care how much privilege he think he got. Okay, it ain't gonna happen.
Where is he? Where is he locked up? Where?
Can't remember off the top of my head.
Okay,
but wherever it is, it ain't no place good.
you'll probably get some people to try to send some food in there to him. Maybe Uber Eats or some shit.
Oh yes, he'll still never see it.
Delivery for the man with the horns.
Yeah, he'll still never see it.
Organic burgers for him.
Yeah, he'll never see it. Yeah, it's not gonna happen.
The guards be eating that food.
Yes, sir. And be like that commercial. Tonight I'm eating ravioli with cheese.
Organic cheese. The stupidity that's going on in America right now is just
yes, sir.
Incredible.
Yes, sir.
Incredible. I mean, it is amazing for me to see how wrong is being turned into right. And that just makes me think about the quote from Malcolm X. The media is the most powerful entity on earth. It has the power to make the innocent guilty and the guilty innocent. Now that's just straight up power.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is. It's we're in some scary times, but I'm comfortable in thinking that we have at least rational thinking people in leadership right now in Washington, D.C. And I think they're going to try to do the best that they can to unravel all of the crazy that's been infected into so many people in America. And I hope that we're successful in that. And I saw a little bit of Biden's speech today, and he was saying that we're back. America's back. We're back in the leadership role. We're dealing with the international situations, back into the World Health Organization. All of the crazy stuff that the previous president, who did, we're already tying those strings back together to make sure that we are connected. Being disconnected from the rest of the world is not a good thing. Not at all. You can't survive like that. I don't care how powerful we think we are. We still need our allies. And anybody that thinks that you can just walk out here and do what you want to do, and they're just going to have to follow you regardless, it's unrealistic.
Yep.
It's fantasy. So I'm happy that we have Biden and Kamala in the House, and I'm hopeful that in time things will get better. That's what we can hope for, and support them.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I tripped over last week, when they were releasing the nominations for the Nobel Peace Prize. And Miss Abrams was nominated.
Yeah. Yep. That was very good.
And then I saw one of the pundits or one of those political contributors on the one of the other networks actually sit there and say that Mr. Trump, the former president, should have received that award over Miss Abrams.
What?
Absolutely. I looked at this here. I said, oh man, I had to take a break for 2 days, not watching them cats, because this everything, and it's like your slip is showing. You can automatically see. You can see that these cats are everything that they're going to say about whatever. If Biden does whatever, it's going to be socialist, crooked, radical. It's going to be crazy things about everything that comes out of their mouth is going to be inflammatory towards their base to make them hate us or hate other people.
Totally.
So how are we going to go forward with that?
That's the $1 million question.
Well, I try to take a simplistic approach to most things. The loudest voice gets the attention, and that's what Trump was for the last 5 years, the loudest voice. So what this current administration has to accomplish is be the prominent, the dominant voice of truth. Keep beating that drum over and over again to convince people that this is real. More importantly, when Biden steps out there and says ABC, and I'm telling you that's what it is. And if it becomes reality, then he's going to gain that respect, and that the people will begin to change their minds. Even those that are hardcore, maybe they'll never change their minds because they won't want to admit to defeat or that they were wrong, but at least they'll shut up. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
What Trump did was woke up the living dead and made it okay for you to come out and be overt, crazy, nuts, all the way out there. Because he says, I got you. You know, if they lock you up, don't worry about it. I'll get you out.
Mm-hmm.
You know, back in the old days, somebody like that, they'd take them out on a stretcher. You know, if I shoot somebody out on Fifth Avenue, you'll still like me. You'll still follow me.
Mm-hmm. That's what he said.
He told me, y'all are stupid.
Mm-hmm.
You're ignorant. And whatever I say, you're going to follow.
Yep.
I mean, it was clear as a bell to me. I used to go, did you just hear what he just said?
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy. I've never heard a president say that.
Yeah. His first year in office, he made it so comfortable for you know, the white people, I'm just gonna say it like this, to be able to use the N-word in public towards people, you know, and they had a news clip on the subway of New York. This white guy used the N-word to this brother. This brother knocked him out on the subway platform.
Good night.
And somebody had published it on social media. So, you know, and that was just the beginning, you know, the beginning, okay, of more people trying to do that and get away with it, you know.
Yeah, you pick on the wrong person, you're going to have that headache.
Oh, yeah.
And you know, I don't condone violence, but sometimes people will push you to the point where it'll make you lose it. Yeah, there's another video floating around on the internet with this guy in a convenience store. Have y'all seen this one? And the guy was talking trash to one of the people standing in line, and he said the wrong thing. The guy was standing there getting ready to check out.
And knocked him out.
I think he had a big can of beer, and he cold cocked him in the face with that beer, and the beer flew everywhere. Yeah. Good night.
Good night, Irene.
Yep, he sure did.
People are losing their minds. There's another video floating around where this lady's in a department store, and she doesn't have a mask on. So she gets into a debate with some of the other people who are wearing masks, and they say, hey, why aren't you wearing a mask? And I'm not sick. I'm not, you know, I don't have the virus and blah, 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 blah. I don't need to wear a mask. But see, that's how stupid people are. You may not be sick, but how do you know? Have you been tested? How long ago were you tested? They can't answer those questions. Well, I don't want to be tested. I'm healthy. She looked like a crackhead, if you ask me, because she was quite skinny and looking kind of crazy, wild-eyed. So you may have it and don't know it because that crack got you going on. But I don't know, man. We got to get a grip on this stuff.
Yeah, twisted tea. It wasn't a beer. It was a twisted tea.
Is that what it was?
Yep, twisted tea knockout. It was all over social media.
Wow. Yeah.
He hit that boy with that can of tea and knocked him straight flat out.
Did you see it?
Yeah, I saw it. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to look at that one myself.
Yeah, I'll find it and send it to you. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
But, people are getting sick or tired of the bullshit, man, and it's got to stop. People have got to learn how to be respectful. Even if you believe in some of this crazy stuff, don't share that with anybody. Just maybe you want to record yourself on your phone, but don't post it on social media, because it will come back to haunt you. Look at all the people it's close to 200 people have been arrested just on that thing at the Capitol building. It should be 2,000, but
it's growing. The numbers are growing.
Yeah.
If they all don't get out on bond and go to Mexico,
Did they give her permission to do it? Did she do?
I don't know. Did they let her go, Chris?
They let her go. Yeah.
They let her go to Mexico.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Well, maybe she'll try to come back through the wall that Trump built, and she can't get over the wall. So Mexico can have her, pimp her out. Don't come back. Save the tax dollars with your stupidity, please. All right, y'all gonna get me in trouble. But listen, folks, thanks for tuning in tonight. We appreciate it. We do this every Thursday at 9 p.m. East Coast, 8 p.m. Central, 6 o'clock here in the West Coast. And if you're in Mountain Time, you don't matter. Who cares?
That's the folks in the hills, boy.
Who talks about Mountain Time, really? So y'all need to move to one of the 3 other time zones and let the antelopes have all that crazy. All right, no more jokes tonight. So again, thanks for tuning in. And if you guys have any wrap-up words here?
No, just continue to be safe and sound. Yeah, that's it. Yeah,
the talking heads have nothing else to say? Are you kidding me?
I'm good.
Okay.
I said mine,
I'm just gonna say this to my brother, Professor Reggie. It was nice knowing you with the nose that you have. I hope it stays that way. It doesn't slide off. After you have marinated, that lump in your arm goes away, and we hope your nose don't fall off from taking that vaccine, brother. That's all I'm gonna say.
My boy called me, when my boy called me, he said, man, I got to wait. He was mad, because he said, I got to wait, because I ain't 65. You understand? He was mad. So I said, let me go on and do this here, because
tell your boy he can take my place. I'm waiting. I'm holding out.
Mine too.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for Johnson & Johnson. I don't want to get stuck twice and the shit don't work.
Yeah. Now that's a good one. But like I said, man, rolling that dice. Some people can wait up. And then if you're gonna wait, make sure you stay in the house.
Yeah. Don't think you're Superman.
Yeah. Make sure you stay quarantined. Make sure you stay out of the way. And don't get out there, because they say this last thing is amped up like 4-5 times. You understand? And this virus causes blood clots, man. Folks be checking themselves choked. So right. I'm not taking a chance. I love you. My nose fall off cool, long as I'm still here.
You won't be able to smell no way, so it won't matter.
Peace, bro.
Y'all are a mess.
SNN Street News Now.